right now.
Well, if it's not already happening, in just a few hours, you'll likely be hearing some loud booms as folks begin to celebrate the 4th of July.
Yeah, but it's the dangers fireworks can cause on the way down from the sky that could be affected by our ongoing dry South Texas conditions.
That, of course, making city officials remind people of the importance this year of taking extra precautions.
The Night Team's Lee Waldman stopped by Mr. W Fireworks to talk with people stocking up this holiday weekend.
This is the Coyote. This is one of the biggest and best that you can get.
Katy Perry said it best. Let your colors burn.
Let's get the best fireworks there is because 4th of July comes once a year.
All the fireworks and how cool the sky will be.
It's been a constant stream of people at Mr. W Fireworks Shop. Everyone stocking up to put on their own shows.
It's getting quite a few different, they have like combos and stuff, so getting some shots over there and some sparklers for this one.
SAPD posting on social media to say fireworks are illegal within city limits. San Antonio Fire Department adding on to remind people about the dangers of fireworks under these dry conditions, along with increased risk of causing a fire. Michael Martinez is an employee at Mr. W's. He says because of that, bottle rockets are banned this year.
It's just at the distances that they travel, and you don't know if they're still kind of, lit when they land, and they could cause some fires if it's dry like it is right now.
Martinez says they're making sure their customers know how to light their fireworks in a safe way for their family and the environment.
Safe area that is maybe not like a grassy area, maybe like a driveway, street per se. But if they do have like grassy areas, to wet the land first a little bit.
That way everyone can celebrate the holiday in a responsible way.
Have plenty of water hoses around us to make sure we can spray down all the fireworks and making sure all the kids are supervised.
Just be careful in popping the fireworks and have fun and enjoy everything that's going on because safety comes first.
The city of San Antonio's official firework display will be happening at Woodlawn Lake at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. The city of Boerne and Fredericksburg both canceled their firework displays out of an abundance of caution because of these dry conditions. If you head on over to KSAT.com, we have all the firework displays you need to know about right there. Reporting live, Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Lee. And those dry weather conditions are not expected to stop anytime soon, along with more 100-degree days.
Well, let's check in with meteorologist Sarah Spivey to get the latest on these drought conditions. No relief in sight, Sarah.
No, unfortunately, absolutely no relief in sight. Here's a recap of the drought situation. We've got the worst kind of drought, exceptional drought, all throughout the hill country, western San Antonio, western Bexar County, and points west of San Antonio like Uvalde and near Bracketville. Now, areas like Uvalde got a little bit of rain over the last 48 hours, but we're still seeing extreme, exceptional drought, a lot of dry fuels for a spark to create a fire. So keep that in mind. Now, the aquifer is up half a foot over the past 24 hours, and so are molds. Molds are up high, and pigweed is low. Now, coming up in the forecast, we're going to talk about a few things. We'll talk about our 4th of July sizzle, and of course, I'll have your firework forecast, how windy it'll be, what'll the temperatures be like, and more on that triple-digit heat streak ahead.
Thank you, Sarah. We'll look forward to that. Meantime, looking to other stories we've been following tonight. Despite Pierre Arredondo's resignation as Uvalde District 3 councilman, members of the Uvalde community are pushing for him to also step down as Uvalde CSID police chief. Another protest happening at the memorial site for the Robb Elementary School massacre. About a dozen people there, including Usaya's mother and uncle. His mother calling for the resignation of the district attorney as well, Christina Mitchell Busby. Arredondo stepped down from city council yesterday by sending a letter to the Uvalde mayor.
And we are learning more information tonight about the victims from the San Antonio migrant tragedy that happened just 6 days ago. Guatemala's Ministry of Foreign Affairs releasing the names of 2 teenage victims from their country. They are identified as 13-year-old Pascual Sipac and 14-year-old Juan Tepaz. They are among the 53 migrants who died from being in the back of that hot tractor trailer. The Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office still working to identify 4 others who are believed to be from Guatemala as well. Those confirmed their remains will be sent back to their native country. At last check, 19 victims have been positively identified, 30 have been potentially identified, and 4 remain unidentified. Now, as mentioned, we know 5 of the victims are from Honduras. Presumably, they were coming to the U.S. just for a better life. So why make such a risky journey? Well, a Stone Oak couple understands why, because they lived there. Our Marilyn Moritz shows us how they're now using needle and thread to help.
Each quilt in Courtney Kimball's closet tells a story.
Van Gogh's Starry Night.
They're cotton treasures stitched from scraps, all handmade by a group of women in Honduras.
It's a gorgeous, gorgeous country. It's just, unfortunately, a very dangerous one.
Courtney and her husband, Trent Kimball, lived in one of the most violent, impoverished Honduran cities for 3 years. It's where she met 13-year-old Scarlett.
She asked me for a way to make $5, and I thought, how can I help you make $5?
Courtney was making a wedding quilt, so she taught Scarlett to make hexagon pieces.
So she was making these for me, and she would cut them and sew them, and she made 500 in a few days' time.
Courtney paid her $20.
Her dad at the time was making about $30 a week.
Scarlett lived in a shanty town where a bed is a luxury, gang violence threatens, and money is scarce.
It is a survival mentality, and that's what drives people to get
into those trucks.
It's a survival. They think there's no other option. And
do I get that as a mother? I get it.
So they are trying to help them where they are. Word spread, and now 100 women are sewing pieces for quilts sold online through the nonprofit One Common Thread. When a quilt like this sells online, almost all of that money goes to the woman who made it, and that is far more than she's used to, and it's life-changing.
A whole new world of empowerment and just positivity entered these women's lives.
And we're able to teach them how to open bank accounts, teach them how to do things that they really just never had needed to do before. We're just trying to break that cycle that's there and providing a future.
The Kimballs don't know how the sales numbers will go, but they know they are changing stories, one hexagon at a time.
So it gives me a lot of inner peace of knowing that we can make a difference.
Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
So a story developing tonight. An affordable housing project on the city's southwest side keeps going up in flames. This is the 3rd time in the past month and a half that a fire has burned there, and organizers now trying to figure out who's responsible. Around 5 o'clock this morning, fire crews were called to the reserve at the port on Gilmore Avenue. That's near Port SAA. The damage, very extensive. The project manager says the fire caused up to $700,000 in damage. Nobody was living in the building during that fire since it was undergoing renovations, but families who were hoping to have a place there that they could afford will now have to look elsewhere.
I would say 60% of these buildings are rehabbed, maybe 70, and this building here was about 70% completed, and we were waiting for final inspections on mechanical to throw the sheetrock up.
Cause of that fire still remains under investigation tonight.
A teenager is facing aggravated robbery charges in connection with a carjacking in a Northwest Side neighborhood. Bexar County deputies arrested 17-year-old AJ Delgado Friday morning. According to an arrest affidavit, a man outside a home on Grapevine Pass near Leon Springs was getting out of his truck when a woman approached asking to use a charger. When the man agreed, deputies say Delgado allegedly approached the man with a gun and demanded the keys to his truck. As Delgado allegedly got into the truck, the man started to wrestle the gun away. During that struggle, the man says he bit Delgado on the arm, and that's when he said a third suspect hit him in the head with a brick. Delgado admitted to the crime during his arrest.
Several shootings in Texas on this Sunday. Here in San Antonio, a 17-year-old recovering tonight after being shot while sitting in his car. Police were called to the shooting scene around 2 o'clock this morning at the intersection of 36th Street and Castroville Road. A witness telling police a suspect in a black vehicle allegedly shot at the teen. Police were able to find the vehicle and arrested 2 people inside. They are now facing aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charges. The teen taken to University Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
Police in Haltom City near Fort Worth are saying an ambush-style shooting left 2 people dead and 4 others injured. Those injured include 3 officers. As for the suspect, police say he took his own life. Police say a man and woman were fatally shot at their home, and then when a senior neighbor called 911, they too were shot by the suspect. 3 officers responded to the scene shortly after and exchanged gunfire with that suspect, who was able to get away. He was found dead about a mile from the scene. 1 officer was shot multiple times, another in both legs, and a third in the thigh. All, including the neighbor, were taken to the hospital.
Over in Houston, a 5-year-old is dead and an 8-year-old wounded after a possible drive-by shooting there. Houston police called to a report of a shooting around 1 o'clock this morning. No victims found at the scene, and when police say about 15 minutes later, a nearby hospital reported 2 children arriving with gunshot wounds. The 5-year-old died at the hospital. Witnesses tell police a woman who was with the 2 children was waiting at a stoplight when a vehicle pulled up and started shooting. Millions of people gathering to celebrate America's birthday this holiday weekend.
Yes, yet divisions between Americans over hot-button issues like abortion rights are deepening in the wake of the Supreme Court ruling.
As our nation gears up to celebrate the July 4th holiday, Americans are marking Independence Day amid growing political divisions on several controversial issues like abortion rights.
That's what's interesting about the time we live in right now, is every state will have different laws on the books.
We have to recognize we're a nation that was founded on certain principles that are grounded in the concept of freedom and liberty.
Having an immediate impact across the country as states move to impose abortion bans or codify the right to abortion. Rallies were scheduled to take place on Sunday and more on Monday to advocate for abortion rights. South Dakota's trigger ban outlawing abortion went into effect immediately after Roe was overturned. The state's Republican governor, Kristi Noem, suggested that she might be open to discussing paid family leave.
Many women feel as though when they have a pregnancy that's not planned, that it's a crisis situation, and we need to do a better job of supporting them.
Vice President Kamala Harris spoke at the Essence Festival in New Orleans on Saturday, emphasizing the immense impact the Supreme Court decision would have on low-income women.
We've had a history in this country of government trying to claim ownership over human bodies. And we had supposedly evolved from that time and that way of thinking.
President Joe Biden met virtually with Democratic governors to discuss reproductive rights on Friday. He says if states block women from obtaining medication approved by the FDA, his administration will move in to protect them. Guns in America are still a hot topic. Our KSAT Explains team speaks with a local doctor who's looking at guns as a public health issue in order to find a solution. Plus, this week in San Antonio, we saw how dangerous it can be for migrants trying to seek asylum here in the U.S. Border Patrol says some don't even make it past the border. See a demonstration of the challenges migrants face.
And the hot temperatures not only causing dangers for fires, but also some danger for your wallet. The high energy bills people are seeing and what CPS Energy says it's doing to get them down. Well, if you found yourself raising your eyebrow at your recent electric bill, you're not alone. The record high temperatures causing, no surprise, record high demand in electricity.
Yeah, it's not pretty, is it? Our wallets are feeling it too. The night team's Camila Juarez tells us what we can do as the heat continues.
Well, it's a little frustrating.
Ben Esp says his electric bill is more than $100 more compared to this time last year, on top of everything else costing more.
I mean, I think we're all stressed, with the money situation and gas prices and things like that. So, it definitely hits home.
And he's not alone. Priscilla Valencia says her bill rose nearly $50 more than usual, even after intentionally finding ways to save energy.
It's been really hard to just kind of keep up with everything. And just the fact that it's higher now makes it really complicated to just accept, Like, it sucks.
Some frustrated customers went to Reddit to groan about high energy bills, some saying it was the highest bill they had ever had. Other homeowners like Jonathan Johnson took a proactive stance, saying he regularly changes his air filters and updates his appliances.
Expect that your bill's going to go up. Take the time to be responsible at your home. Make sure you're checking your windows and doors.
CPS Energy agrees with Johnson. A spokesperson for CPS says the summer heat is going to continue impacting your wallet, and so will the cost of natural gas rising.
What we absolutely want to advise our customers to do is to try to use less. That's the only thing that they really can do to try to impact their bills right now, is to buy less of our product.
And there are ways to see your usage before the end of the month. So you sign into your CPS Energy account, and from the homepage, you can go to the My Energy portal. And from there, you can go down and you can see your consumption by months and even get notifications when your consumption is high. In the newsroom, Camelia Juarez, KSAT 12 News.
Well, old Mother Nature is not going to make it easy for us to buy less of CPS's product now, is it? ACs are going to be humming, at least mine is.
What, how many 100 days did we say?
So we've had 24 100-degree days. Guys, you know, today we were so cool, okay? We
Let me guess, 99?
A cool 99 today. You know, and just to make it worse, the humidity was high all day too, so it felt like it was 100 either way. So yeah.
Good times.
Yep. Even at night, you know, it's struggling. Like right now, it's 87 degrees outside right now, and by the start of the day tomorrow, we're going to be close to 80 degrees. So yeah, not cooling down anytime soon. As Tim said earlier, we'll see you in October. High temperature today, 99 degrees, above average by 5 degrees. Our morning low this morning was 80. So we didn't get below 80 degrees all day today. Now, we did have some good rain west of San Antonio toward Uvalde and even in parts of Maverick County. There is a low pressure system that is right over the Big Bend area right now, but this is moving out. Our rain chances are moving out, and in its wake, the big blue bully, the heat high, is moving right back over south central Texas in the coming days. That's going to keep us dry, and it's going to crank up the temps. Here's a look at the afternoon temperature forecast over the next several days. Triple digits every single day. I would have liked a report card to look like this when I was younger, but not the temperature. Temperatures are going to be close to 102 by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this upcoming weekend as well. We're just going to see that temperature go up. Now, early tomorrow morning for the start of 4th of July, we are going to have some clouds early in the morning hours, as is usual this time of year. As we head into the mid-morning hours, those skies will clear in San Antonio, but there will probably still be some lingering clouds out west. And the reason for that is in Uvalde and in Kinney County and close to Del Rio and Eagle Pass, there's a lot of soil moisture from the rain. And so those clouds are going to stick around out there out west. And so actually those areas west of San Antonio should be a degree or two cooler, but still it's going to be hot everywhere across south central Texas. We're just not going to be able to beat the heat. High temperature of 100 degrees in San Antonio. And again, a degree or two cooler out west, but still hot. 99 Uvalde, 99 in Del Rio. It'll be in the mid 90s up in the hill country. And a closer neighborhood view here, it'll be 100 in Seguin, 100 in New Braunfels, 99 in Floresville, 100 in Pleasanton, 98 in Castroville, and 95 up in Comfort. Anything but comfortable in Comfort. And in fact, speaking of comfort, those dew points are going to stay high throughout the day tomorrow. They'll come down a little bit into the mid 60s by the peak heat of the day, but that is still humid. So what we're looking at is a heat index value anywhere from 101 to 104. So again, it is going to be important to make sure to stay hydrated as we're spending a lot of time outdoors tomorrow because of that high humidity mixed with the high heat. So just to recap everything, your KSAT 12-hour forecast, clouds in the morning, 77 degrees. We'll be seeing those skies clear. We'll be in the mid 80s by 10 o'clock. So if you're waking up early, get that brisket smoking, get that brisket going. Things are going to be muggy. By noon, it'll be 90 degrees, mostly sunny, and 100 for the afternoon high right around 6 p.m. Here's the thing. It'll also be windy tomorrow. Southeast winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour, feeling more like a blow dryer than any kind of relief. But the thing, too, is that for firework displays, it is going to be mild and relatively comfortable outside with temperatures in the 80s, but the winds are going to be dangerous if you lose handle of any kind of those fireworks, because those winds could gust up to 30 miles per hour from the southeast. So just keep that in mind. We definitely don't want any grass fires to develop. It is going to be a long stretch of triple-digit weather. No relief from the tropics in sight either. Coming up in the next half hour, I'm going to recap rainfall totals out to the west and show how that could actually help out the aquifer just a little bit. Tim and Courtney.
And we need a little positive
Yeah, sure would be nice if you could find some more of that rain that you had back there hiding away in the weather.
I'll be looking for it.
All right, you look real hard. Thanks, Sarah. All right, we'll have a preview of Instant Replay right after this. Wow, what a week it was in Spurs franchise history. The trading of and the releasing of two of the most popular and talented players on the team. With more of what's on Instant Replay, let's check in with our Greg Simmons. So we're going full rebuild?
Yeah, this is exactly what's happening. I know Spurs fans are in shock about this. In a crash in Formula One racing today, you have to see to believe. Coming up tonight on a brand new edition of Instant Replay.
It's just time to step up. You know, you got to keep evolving, keep getting better, keep grinding.
He is a new face of the franchise. Keldon Johnson reacting to the biggest trade in Spurs franchise history since they sent the Iceman George Gervin to the Chicago Bulls way back in 1985. DeJounte Murray to the Atlanta Hawks for 3 first-round draft picks and more.
I feel like if it wasn't Atlanta, I would still be in San Antonio.
All right, less than 24 hours after the Spurs confirmed the trade, DeJounte Murray introduced as a member of the Hawks in Atlanta. Hear what he has to say about why the Spurs traded him to the Hawks. And Lonnie Walker, the fourth, final words to Spurs fans after he signed with the Los Angeles Lakers.
You do not ever want to see accidents like that.
And an accident in F1 racing, you have to see to believe, as one driver's car is wedged between the tire barrier and the catch fence at the start of the British Grand Prix today. How is that driver doing tonight? We will tell you all that, plus retirement night for a San Antonio staple on the pitch. And what do you believe is the real reason behind the DeJounte Murray trade? Tonight, you decide. Instant Replay is live, and it's after the Nightbeat. There are several choices involved here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure all the choices involve cheap tickets next year.
Well, yeah, or low attendance. Exactly right.
Greg. We'll see you again later. The traveling chaos continues with more flight delays and gas prices still high. A breakdown of what happened today for some travelers.
And a weekend air show gone wrong. What we now know about the explosion that killed a driver in front of a crowd of spectators.
And KSAT got an up-close look at what it's like for migrants who take the journey through the Rio Grande Valley in hopes of making it to America. Why it's more dangerous than some might realize when we return.
$4,500. That's how much coyotes are charging undocumented immigrants to take them into the U.S.
However, that one-way ticket many times is met with harsh treatment and conditions at the hands of smugglers, leading to physical and mental abuse and sometimes even death.
And we saw that here in San Antonio. Our Alicia Barrera got a close-up look at the dangerous conditions immigrants and Border Patrol face at the border.
And we want to remind you the images you're about to see are a reenactment.
We got a rescue beacon activation on the Silver Tanks Road.
10-4 will be on foot.
Border Patrol agent Sandra Velasquez gets a message from dispatch of a woman in distress.
That's going to be a 10-4 on one female.
Border Patrol has 47 rescue beacons placed in areas of high traffic throughout the Rio Grande Valley.
As you know, the valley can be very unforgiving and a daunting trek. The thick brush, the quicksand-like ground, the relentless heat and humidity, and the wildlife combine to make it difficult, if not impossible, journey for those who are ill-prepared.
The woman wasn't alone. Her daughter is somewhere in the brush, and Border Patrol EMTs and specialty operation units, a drone, and canines are all activated in hopes of finding the person alive.
We'll look until we find them.
Since October, Border Patrol agents in the Rio Grande Valley have performed over 900 rescues. However, migrant deaths are also on the rise. So far, 140 this year.
With the rising temperatures of South Texas, this is a guaranteed death sentence. And crossing the border illegally shouldn't be a death sentence.
In today's exercise, they find the woman alive with signs of heat exhaustion. 1, 2, 3, oh. And because of the terrain, agents must carry her on the stretcher for at least a mile.
So the further up you are, the heavier the body is, and we're supposed to call out rotate once we have a good handle. And about every 10, maybe 20 steps is when you'll rotate again. Rotate!
And while agents do help save lives, they want to send a clear message.
It's not worth it. Do not place your life or the lives of your loved ones in the hands of these criminals.
Border Patrol officials say they expect 911 calls from distressed migrants to increase now that we are in the middle of the hottest months here in Texas. To help combat this, the Rio Grande Valley sector is expanding its missing migrant program to mitigate the loss of life, but they are also helping to identify the deceased.
Now to that terrifying tragedy at a Michigan air show. Police have identified the man who died after a large explosion as 40-year-old Chris Darnell. Local police say he was driving his truck called the Shockwave jet truck. It was racing two low-flying planes at the Battle Creek Field of Flight air show at the local airport. Darnell was traveling at speeds over 300 miles per hour down the runway before witnesses say parts of his truck began flying off. A massive fireball in the airfield appears to cause the truck itself to catch fire and roll over several times. It's unclear if that first explosion was planned.
The family of Jalen Walker, a 25-year-old black man shot and killed by police in Akron, Ohio last Monday, are now calling for peace as protesters take to the streets demanding justice. Today, officials released graphic body cam footage showing the moment police shot and killed Walker, who appears to be unarmed when he was shot, according to the police chief. Walker was shot after officers tried to pull him over for a traffic and equipment violation. A short chase happened before body cam video appeared to show a single gunshot was fired from inside his vehicle. When the car slowed, police say Walker then ran away into a parking lot. Police say Walker's actions, quote, posed a deadly threat to them.
At the time he was shot, more than 90 or 60 or whatever the unbelievable number will be, he was unarmed.
The medical examiner's report indicates over 60 wounds to Walker's body. Akron's mayor has now promised an independent investigation. The officers involved are on paid administrative leave pending the outcome of that investigation.
Millions of Americans are traveling this holiday weekend, and those flying to their destinations are still dealing with flight disruptions. On Friday and Saturday, thousands of flights were canceled or delayed, and those problems continued today, with more than 2,000 flights delayed, at least 200 more canceled by mid-afternoon. Increased demand for travel, along with pandemic-related staffing shortages and stormy weather, are presenting challenges for the airlines.
And we always wish we had more staff, but we have enough staffing for this weekend. And as you might know, we also have about 1,000 officers in TSA that have volunteered to go on a temporary basis to help other airports.
Many travelers are opting to avoid airports for that reason. AAA estimates 42 million people will be driving to their holiday destinations. Atlanta, Boston, and Chicago are among the top cities expected to see the most traffic. Still, high gas prices have some people opting to just stay at home for the holiday.
Well, taking a look outside with live cam, it's quiet out there, a little breezy with winds gusting up to about 20-25 miles per hour. But tomorrow for 4th of July, it's going to be hot outside. If you're planning on cooking out, temperatures are going to rise pretty quickly. Let's take a look at your grilling forecast for the 4th of July. Early in the morning, 77 degrees. There will be some clouds early in the morning. Around noon, we'll see mostly sunny skies and sizzling, according to that hot dog and hamburger there, all the way over to the right side of your screen. It'll be 100 degrees for the high temperature. Coming up, though, we're going to recap some of the rain that fell west of San Antonio and whether or not it'll help out drought conditions out there. Coming up in a bit. Courtney.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, 4th of July weekend is usually big at the box office, way to get out of the heat. But is the pandemic's effect still lingering? We have the weekend box office results.
And a local doctor might have a solution to guns in America. Why he says a change in perspective is all we need to combat the problem.
The KSAT Explains team is examining the struggle to find solutions to gun violence in America by talking to people right here in South Texas.
A local trauma surgeon at University Hospital has been working with fellow surgeons on solutions for years. Our Myra Arthur explains why he says looking at shootings as a matter of public health is the answer.
We tell ourselves two stories that are conflicting stories that I think are overly simplistic.
For 8 years, Dr. Ronald Stewart has been researching and traveling the country as part of the American College of Surgeons. The group identified two common narratives when it comes to guns.
One I call the fireman freedom story.
In that narrative, guns are seen as personal protection and symbolize freedom through constitutional liberty. Gun control is seen as freedom control. The other story,
We call the firearm and violence story.
firearm and violence. People in this group see guns as harmful. That harm limits their freedom to feel safe, especially in places like churches and schools. And guns are seen as a symbol of violence. The American College of Surgeons used those narratives to find a common one, tapping their own physicians who know guns.
Law enforcement, NRA members, veterans, people who really care about firearms.
That common narrative looks like this: prioritize protecting liberties of the Constitution while acknowledging gun violence is a major preventable cause of death.
It intentionally borrows from those competing stories we tell ourselves.
The American College of Surgeons has 14 recommendations. Some of the most significant: background checks for all gun sales, create gun registration, reclassify certain guns like the AR-15, which could lead to more stringent licensing requirements to own them, require gun safety training for all owners, require safe gun storage, and create red flag laws, while also
trying to understand and address root causes of violence.
In Washington, a bipartisan bill that takes aim at gun violence has now been signed into law. Some of its biggest provisions are enhanced reviews for gun buyers 18 to 21, incentives for states to create their own red flag laws, mental health investment, and boosting school security.
You're talking about truly completely innocent children. And to me, the most kindest, sincere, honest professionals that we have, which are our elementary school teachers. I'm married to one. Telling those stories about the impact on those families, it should move everyone in America, everyone, to do something different.
Now, it remains unlikely that Texas lawmakers will create any red flag law. Governor Greg Abbott has given no indication that he supports the idea, while Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has said once again that he still opposes it. To check out any KSAT Explains episode, scan the QR code that you see here on your screen or go to ksat.com/explains. We'll be right back. Well, a lot of us closer to home didn't see it, but yesterday people got rain.
Yeah, and
a lot of rain.
And even this morning, too. Some areas out west, but there pretty much was a shield. Basically, west of Medina Lake, you got some rain, and here in San Antonio, nothing.
The good old San Antonio rain shield.
Right.
Nothing will pass.
You shall not pass.
There's a scientific reasoning
You go
that
ahead
there's
and
not
explain
a
it.
rain
I'm going to call
shield.
it what it is.
Okay, all right. It's called confirmation bias, but we'll talk about that at another time. Okay, yeah, I do want to talk, though. This is the time of year where anybody across South Central Texas gets rain. We got to celebrate for them, all right? So those folks out west, they did get a good amount of rain, some pockets of 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. The Concan area, Garner State Park, 2 to 3 inches of rain. Uvalde, more than 1.5 inches. Eagle Pass, more than 2.5 inches of rainfall. And then out near Hondo, you can see where that line was. We saw that line really cut off. Hondo only got about 3/100ths of an inch of rainfall. So it really wasn't all that much rain for areas into San Antonio. Looking out across that area, we are experiencing exceptional drought around San Antonio right now. So we could use some rain. Now, low pressure system out across West Texas is what was responsible for that rainfall earlier this morning and yesterday, but unfortunately high pressure is going to settle over place. So no development in the tropics is expected over the next 5 days. We often look to the tropics to see any chance for rain. It's not going to happen for us in the tropics at all. So what we're left with is just a long stretch of triple digit weather. We'll be at 100 Monday, 100 Tuesday, 101 Wednesday. I could go on, but you can see that it's just going to get hotter by this time next weekend. We're going to be above the average high of 94. Tomorrow is the 4th of July. If you're planning on being out tomorrow, and a lot of us are, make sure to try to find a way to stay cool, and the sunscreen will be a good idea tomorrow. 77 early in the morning with mostly cloudy skies. It'll be 90 and mostly sunny at noon. 100 for the high temperature, likely our 25th 100-degree day of the year. so far. Winds will be breezy. We'll have south winds at about 10 to 15, gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Elsewhere, 102 Carrizo Springs, 101 in Eagle Pass, 100 in Pleasanton, 97 in Canyon Lake, 95 in Kerrville. It'll be 100 in Seguin, 100 in Converse, and 100 down in Hondo as well. So triple digits and just a few degrees cooler across the hill country. Another thing to watch out for tomorrow is that the humidity is going to stay high throughout the day. So during the peak heat of the day from about noon till about 8 p.m., heat index values are going to top off anywhere from 100 to 104 degrees. It is going to be hot and you're going to feel it. No such thing as a dry heat tomorrow. Fireworks forecast for you tomorrow night. For any legal firework displays, we're going to be seeing temperatures in the 80s. It'll be windy with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Those winds are what can be dangerous if sparks interact with the grass fire and could cause that to spread quicker. So please be aware tomorrow night, as those winds will be an issue, as well as the dry vegetation. Otherwise, triple-digit weather for us for the foreseeable future. Again, nothing bubbling in the tropics. We'll have to keep an eye on things, and even the Saharan dust is not going to be much of an issue this week as well. But of course, we'll continue to keep you updated if anything about this toasty forecast changes.
Those guys in the back fell asleep, and that's why we couldn't see you on the camera. I threw some black cats in there. They're awake now.
Let's wake them up. Sick burn, bro.
I know you're scared. The Black Phone fell to 5th place with $12.3 million, pushing the Fright film close to $50 million in domestic box office. Jurassic World Dominion is up to $335 million domestic after a 4th place weekend worth $15.7 million. Elvis fell to 3rd with $19 million, giving the biopic a domestic total of $72 million after its 2nd weekend in theaters.
Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell.
As Tom Cruise celebrated his 60th birthday, Top Gun Maverick made another $25.5 million for a domestic total of $571 million. Minions: The Rise of Gru easily rode to victory in its opening weekend. The 5th movie in the Despicable Me franchise led the way with $108.5 million. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
5, count them, 5 Minion movies. The Spurs tip off their summer league games this week in Las Vegas. What does the future hold for the Silver and Black?
And San Antonio FC successfully defends its top spot in the Western Conference standings with back-to-back wins, sending goalkeeper Matt Cordoni into retirement in style. Let's find out what else is on Instant Replay tonight. Greg, that was a great send-off.
And no more Fear the Beard. That's sad.
His beard is amazing.
He is going to law school, so we'll give him that, all right? And former John Jay Mustang, now Detroit Lions wide receiver Josh Reynolds, returns home to help build future NFL players. Coming up tonight on a brand new edition of Instant Replay.
Got a lot of guys on the summer league team competing, working hard every day, so it's good.
Our San Antonio Spurs tip-off play in the NBA Summer League this week in Las Vegas with a whole lot of new faces, including 2 of the top 3 first-round draft picks. Fellow teenager Josh Primo will also be on the Summer League roster. He gives us an early scouting report tonight on what we can expect to start seeing on Friday. And former John Jay Mustang, Texas Aggie, Los Angeles Ram, and now Detroit Lion Josh Reynolds returns home to help others develop their football future at his summer camp.
Everyone plays a part. It's a team sport, and we should keep that going.
After beating the Colorado Switchback FC on the road last week to take over the top spot of the Western Conference, San Antonio FC successfully defends its #1 position with back-to-back wins at home, sending goalkeeper Matt Cordoni into retirement on top. Our Andrew Seeley with more on that and why we no longer have to fear the beard on the pitch. And after winning the first half of the season in the Texas League and clinching a playoff spot, how our San Antonio Vision is doing in the second half. All that plus, you hear from DeJounte Murray for the first time as a member of the Atlanta Hawks, and the sports guys are back to debate when we could possibly see the Spurs back in the playoffs now that the rebuilding has officially started. Instant Replay is live, and it is next.
Lots to look forward to. Thank you, Greg.
All right, and happy 4th of July for tomorrow.
Absolutely, and to you too.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Finally tonight, something good.
A self-taught New York artist used the pandemic to create a diverse array of dioramas that depict urban Brooklyn scenes. They look so real. Aaron Kinnard taps into a range of forms from 3D printing to airbrushing to complete his works. When the pandemic hit, he no longer had to travel across the city for work, giving him more time to dive deeper into his artistic projects. Kinnard is self-taught artist and only took a few college courses. Look real.
Very cool. That's what you do when you got a lot of extra time on your hands. You find a hobby and make it your own. Well, that's all of our time. For all of us here at KSAT 12, thanks for watching. Be sure to tune in to Good Morning San Antonio for all your latest overnight news.
An all-new instant replay starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a brand new edition of Instant Replay. Here's hoping you are getting to spend this 4th of July holiday weekend with your family and friends as we celebrate our Independence Day. And here's to those of you who have served or are currently serving in our military. This one will go down as one of the biggest weeks in Spurs franchise history. The trading of DeJounte Murray to Atlanta and the release of Lonnie Walker IV so that he could sign up with the Lakers as the Spurs move into full rebuild mode for the future. It has been rumored, even reported for almost a couple of weeks, that the Spurs were in talks with the Atlanta Hawks about moving All-Star guard DeJounte Murray for 3 first-round draft picks. And finally, it was officially announced on Wednesday that the deal was done, much to the amazement of Spurs fans. Their best player gone, just like that. And now the team is in all-out rebuild mode. Besides DeJounte, the Spurs also sent the Hawks center Jacques Landale in exchange for a 2023 protected first-round pick via Charlotte, followed by a first-round pick in 2025 and 2027, and then swapping first-round picks in 2026. The Hawks also sent the Spurs forward Danilo Gallinari, who the Spurs are expected to buy out before this Friday. The deal sent shockwaves through San Antonio as we look to the new face of the franchise now, Keldon Johnson, for answers. Now what?
We do what we do. You know, we come in, we're going to fight. We're going to play hard. We're going to go out there and compete. We're going to win. I think we got some great guys around here. I think that, I mean, we definitely lost some big pieces, but I think we definitely got some great guys in, ready to work and ready to learn. And I think everything will be all right.
All right, less than 24 hours after DeJounte Murray traded in his number 5 in silver and black to one in red and white for the Hawks, he was introduced in Atlanta at this press conference. There was one report that stated why the Spurs made the trade is that Murray and his agent, Rich Paul, would not sign a contract extension, forcing their hand to make the deal. But if you listen to Murray in his introductory press conference, he tells us that the Spurs actually did him a favor by letting his talents flourish elsewhere, since the Spurs were not going to be playoff bound, much less championship contenders for some time.
They're in a rebuilding stage, and you know they want to see me on a bigger stage, like I want to see myself on a bigger stage, you know, which is winning. And you know, I'm pretty sure that's what they want to do. I know that's what they want to do. The Spurs organization speaks for itself, you know, but just right now they didn't want to see me, you know, just waste years, you know, rebuilding and stuff. You know, they want to see me win and just the best for DeJounte. So I thank them for that a lot.
All right, it also gives Murray a chance to team up with his longtime friend and 2-time NBA All-Star Trey Young as one of the more lethal backcourts now in the NBA. And as Murray also revealed, they've been having conversations about the possible move for the last couple of weeks.
We actually been talking for about 2-3 weeks. So he pushed the needle and he wanted it, you know, as much as I wanted it. So I've been knowing Trey since he was in high school and I was in high school. But, you know, it just was something we both wanted. And I told him, like, it's going to happen. And, you know, when it happened, you know, he called me excited. I was smiling excited. And like I said, I'm just, you know, thankful and grateful and so excited to join him.
And the Spurs are not done with their shocking moves. Less than 24 hours after extending Lonnie Walker IV a qualifying offer, the Spurs withdrew it so that Walker could sign with the Lakers for 1 year, $6.5 million. That leaves Jakob Poeltl as the longest tenured Spur, about to start only his 5th season and in the last year of his contract. This is what Lonnie had to say on social media about leaving San Antonio for L.A. Thank you to the city of San Antonio, truly welcoming me into the city with such open arms. Felt like a second home instantly, and I can't thank enough Spurs for giving just a kid from Reading the opportunity of a lifetime, eternal gratitude. Now the first order of business is getting the draft picks and the rookies ready for the Summer League, which tips off this Friday for the Spurs in Las Vegas. After giving the players off this holiday weekend, they'll go back to work on Tuesday, where they pack up for Vegas. Spurs top draft choice, number 9 overall, Jeremy Sohan, suffered a setback right out of the gate after he tested positive for COVID. There's still a question of whether or not he'll be able to play in Vegas, even if he's cleared from the NBA health and safety protocols. So that means more time to focus on the other 2 picks, wingman Malachi Branham out of Ohio State, the so-called steal of the draft at number 20, and guard Blake Wesley out of Notre Dame.
I feel like my game rises when I'm competing, so I'm super excited. Always watch Summer League on TV, but now playing in it is going to be exciting and fun. I'm super excited.
So I love to play defense. That's the first thing I like to do. just impact the game. That's what I like doing. My dad taught me how to play defenses, and being a defender is good for me. And then I can really score it. So that's my main two things I can do.
All right, these two 19-year-olds will be assisted by another teenager who already has a year under his belt in the Spurs organization, Josh Primo, who's also on the roster of the Spurs Summer League team, who provides us with an early scouting report on the two picks.
Oh, they're really good, really good. I mean, Blake, he's really quick offensively and defensively, and then Malachi just is really savvy. He knows where to get to his spots, and he's honestly, he's got some physical attributes to him that make him pretty special.
All right, since the house cleaning, there's been a lot of speculation that these moves could be setting up Pop for retirement, but the Spurs claim he's not going anywhere right now. Their 2 Summer League games out of 4 will be played this week and this weekend. It'll be Friday against the Cavaliers at 4 p.m., the Warriors against the Spurs Sunday at 6:30. After beating the Switchbacks in Colorado Springs last week to gain the top spot in the Western Conference, San Antonio FC was able to defend its position with back-to-back wins at home this past week. On Tuesday against Tulsa, San Antonio rallied from a 1-0 halftime deficit by scoring the fastest 2 goals in franchise history in the second half. Ignacio Bailoni and Samuel Adrian each scored 70 seconds apart and an eventual 2-1 victory. And then last night against Charleston Battery, San Antonio won 2-0 thanks to the goals from Santiago Patiño and Bailoni again with his second of the season. And the week all the while, Jordan Farr and Mark Cardoni playing in his final match with KSAT keep a clean sheet. More on Matt's retirement in just a moment.
It was really important for us to come in here and not take this game lightly, just looking at standings and whatnot, and I think the group did that. So the goal is to get 3 points. We came in and did that and achieved it, so really proud of everyone and ending first half of the season on a high at first place.
We don't make excuses, we make solutions, and that's what this team's about. It's about being mentality monsters and really embodying that. I feel like we all have done a great job with that, with guys being injured. They're in the treatment room every day, grinding just as hard as we are, working out in the heat every day, and I'm really proud of all the guys.
After losing to San Antonio last weekend, Colorado Springs lost to Hartford Athletic on Tuesday 2-0, but rebounded on Friday to beat Sacramento Republic 3-0. Still are in second place. Here's a look at the schedule here now for SAFC. They have a bye week next week. Then they host Atlanta United FC Saturday, July 16th at Toyota Field at 8 p.m. Horrible crash in Formula One racing today. The start of the British Grand Prix. Joe Granu makes contact, goes upside down into the gravel, flips over, and then gets lodged in between the tire barrier and the catch fence. Wow. Fellow F1 driver George Russell jumps out of his damaged car to run to see if he can help. Here's another look when Granu here in his Alfa Romeo gets flipped after contact. He's sliding upside down, now spinning into the gravel. Then he flips up and winds up wedged between the tire barrier and the catch fence. The good news is Joe was cut out of the car, taken by ambulance to the Race Center Medical Facility, released, where he told us the Halo cockpit protection saved his life. Time now for tonight's instant replay poll question. What do you believe is the reason for the DeJounte Murray trade? A, Murray was not going to sign a contract extension. B, the Spurs did not believe he was a max contract player. C, Spurs wanted DJ to play for a contender. And D, part of a major Spurs overhaul. Vote now. We'll have the results at the end of the broadcast tonight. We are just getting started with our July 4th holiday edition of Instant Replay. Up next.
It means so much to me being able to stay in my hometown, play professional soccer, be part of such a great community.
He spent his entire soccer career in San Antonio, from high school to college to professionally with both the San Antonio Scorpions and now San Antonio FC. And what a way for Matt Cardoni to go out with back-to-back wins at home and on top of the Western Conference standings. When we come back, why we no longer have to fear the beard on the pitch after clinching a playoff spot by winning the first half Texas League Championship. How are the Missions doing in the start of the second half? Our Andrew Seeley will have that for you. Plus, what lies ahead for our San Antonio Spurs after the biggest house cleaning in franchise history? The sports guys are back. We'll debate that and more when Instant Replay continues live next.